It started at 2:13 a.m., not with a noise but with a vibration. A single, silent buzz from the phone resting on his chest. Ding, ring notification. Motion detected at your front door. Half asleep, Daniel fumbled with his phone, opening the app. The live feed showed an empty porch. Just the welcome mat, the dim glow of the porch light, and the quiet, sleeping street beyond. He let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. Probably a cat, he muttered, closing his eyes, ready to drift back to sleep. Ding. Again. He sighed, annoyed this time, and checked the screen once more. The porch was still empty. But the doormat, it had moved. Not by much. Just a few inches to the left. Daniel sat up, his sleepiness evaporating. He frowned. There was no wind tonight, not even a breeze. He rewound the clip, his thumb tapping the screen. He watched as the video played back. The doormat, slowly, dragging itself across the concrete. There was no person, no hand, no string, not even a shadow. Just movement. An unnatural, impossible slide. A cold knot tightened in his stomach. He was fully awake now. Ding. A third alert. He opened the app instantly, his heart pounding in his ears. And then it stopped. His heart, his breath, everything. A face filled the entire screen. It was pressed so close to the lens that the image warped and distorted around the edges, like a funhouse mirror. The skin was a pale, sickly gray. The eyes were wide open, unblinking, and disturbingly wet, as if they'd been staring without rest for a very, very long time. Daniel couldn't breathe. The face wasn't knocking, it wasn't trying to get in. It was just staring, directly into the camera, directly at him. Then, with agonizing slowness, its lips began to move. No sound came through the phone's speaker, just the silent, eerie mouthing of words he couldn't understand. His hand trembling, Daniel tapped the icon to turn on the porch light. The screen flared white for a second, and the face was gone, vanished. He scrambled out of bed and rushed to the front window, peering through the blinds. The porch was empty, completely still. He grabbed a baseball bat from his closet and crept downstairs. Each step a thunderous crack in the silence of the house. His hands were shaking so badly he could barely turn the deadbolt. He flung the door open. Nothing, nobody, but the air outside felt wrong. It was heavy, thick, stagnant. Like the entire world around his house had been holding its breath, waiting. He quickly stepped back inside, slamming and locking the door behind him. Back in the perceived safety of his living room, he pulled up the footage again. He had to see it. He zoomed in on the recorded image of the face, his finger tracing the distorted features. And that's when he saw it. Something that made his skin crawl and his blood run cold. The eyes. They weren't looking at the camera. They were looking past it. Through the fisheye lens, through the door itself. They were looking into the house. At something inside. Daniel slowly, hesitantly turned around. He scanned the dark, silent living room. He was alone. He had to be. No, he whispered into the darkness. Ding. A new notification. From the backyard camera. His stomach dropped into a bottomless pit. With a sense of absolute dread, he opened the new feed. A shadow was moving across his yard. It wasn't walking. It was gliding, its form drifting over the grass as if its feet weren't touching the ground at all. The figure stopped, dead center in front of the backyard camera. Same face, same wide, wet eyes. But now, it was smiling. A stretched, painful, unnatural grin that pulled its lips too far, revealing too many teeth. Then the lips moved again. This time, there was no mistaking it. He could read them clearly. I'm already inside. A floorboard creaked upstairs. Right above him, Daniel froze, every muscle in his body locking up. He lived alone. Another creak, slow, heavy. The sound of someone walking with deliberate, careful steps. Tears welled in Daniel's eyes. He didn't want to look. He knew he shouldn't look, but he couldn't stop himself. His gaze lifted, drawn upward toward the top of the stairs, toward the deep, impenetrable darkness of the second-floor landing. A shape stood there, tall, still, watching him. He couldn't make out the face in the gloom. But he knew. He knew what it was. He ran. He didn't grab his keys, his wallet, or his shoes. He just ran. He burst out the front door, his bare feet slapping against the cold pavement. And didn't stop running until he was hammering on his neighbor's door, screaming for help. The police came. They were professional, methodical. They searched his entire house, from the attic to the crawl space. They found nothing. No footprints, no signs of forced entry, no indication that anyone other than Daniel had been inside. He tried to show them the footage, the proof that he wasn't crazy. But the videos were gone. Wiped clean from the app, from the cloud, from his phone, as if they had never existed. You probably just had a vivid nightmare, one of the officers suggested, a placating look on his face. It happens. Daniel just stared down at his phone in his trembling hands. And then he felt his blood turn to ice. A new notification had appeared on his screen, a system alert. New device connected to your home network. He opened his network device list. His router, his TV, his laptop, and a new name, one he had never seen before. Device name, Inside. Status, active. Before he could even process what he was seeing, his phone vibrated again. The Ring app opened by itself, pulling up a live view from the backyard camera. The figure was standing there again, a motionless statue in the dark. But this time, it wasn't looking at the camera. It was looking up at the house. Daniel, against his better judgment, zoomed in, and then he saw it. The thing that shattered the last of his sanity. A light was on upstairs, his bedroom light. He never turned it on, and standing in the window, he saw himself. A perfect copy, staring down from the window, looking at the camera feed, smiling. The same pale face, the same wide, unblinking eyes, the same stretched, painful, impossible smile. Daniel dropped the phone as if it were burning hot. "I'm here," he whispered, his voice cracking. But as the words left his lips, the thing in the window mouthed the exact same words at the exact same time. Perfectly sensed. A mirror image, a horrifying reflection. The police officers were looking at him now, like he was completely insane. But Daniel knew the truth. Something had seen him, studied him, and copied him. And it was still inside his house, wearing his face. He moved out the next morning. He didn't pack. He just left. He never went back, never even drove down that street again. But his nightmare isn't over. Every few nights, like clockwork, at exactly 2:13 a.m., his phone still vibrates. A Ring notification from a house he no longer lives in. And every time he dares to open it, the face is there. A little closer to the camera, a little sharper. And with each new alert, it looks a little more like him. Thank you for watching.